Welcome back to the Den of Nerds. I am Josh, and we need to talk about Doctor Doom, because there was recently a public screening of the Fantastic Four movie, and of course the post-credit scene leaked, and we talked about that in a video recently. But I also heard some really interesting things about Doctor Doom's involvement or lack of involvement in the Fantastic Four movie. And so in this video I want to talk about this because the mystery surrounding RDJ as Doctor Doom is like the thing I'm most interested in. Like, that is so crazy to me. Is he Doom? Is he Tony Stark? Is he a combination? Is the Tony Stark that we followed in the Infinity Saga, was he actually a Victor Von Doom variant? So anytime we get new information about this, I love to talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Let's go. So first off, Doctor Doom is in the post-credit scene. That's obvious. That was in the leaks. We talked about that in a recent video. And as of now, he's not in the Fantastic Four movie. He's not really mentioned in the film, at least not from what I've heard, right? A lot of people are coming out with stuff they've heard from the screening. I talked to some people that saw it, and there's no mention of Doom in the film. However, there is something really interesting in the movie that implies that Victor is from this reality. He is from the reality that Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards exists in, which, by the way, is sort of confirmed to be referred to as Universe 828. So I want to get into this. I don't want to talk about the full spoilers for the film. Like, I don't like going beat by beat through a movie and like spoiling the whole experience, but there are elements that are spoilery from within the film that I think are important to talk about, right? So at one point in the movie, the world is going to be working with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four. So the entire world is working with Reed to try to stop Galactus, which totally makes sense. I mean, Galactus comes to Earth. He's like, I'm going to destroy your Earth. Yeah, that's going to get the whole Earth to like work together. So apparently in the film, there's going to be a sequence where Reed is talking to a bunch of world leaders and basically formulating this plan. And we'll see in the film a video feed that goes into Latveria, and it's very clearly labeled as Latveria, but instead of Victor being there, there's an empty chair. So Victor is either out doing his own thing, possibly within the multiverse itself already, or he's literally so petty that he refuses to show up to a meeting and work with Reed Richards, even though Galactus is there threatening the entire planet. And both of those things are very Doctor Doom things. Doctor Doom is that petty. He would definitely not just want to be working with Reed Richards, but I would assume he would be working on this problem. Like, Doom's not so much of a dick that he would just literally let the world be destroyed. So to me, I think Victor's already out there within the multiverse. We know that Reed has already been thinking about the multiverse, and if he has cataloged his universe as 828, that sort of mirrors the Reed Richards from 838. John Krasinski's Reed was, of course, also cataloging the multiverse. And I also want to bring up that the Sacred Timeline was really behind in their understanding of the multiverse. When Doctor Strange from 616 goes to 838, he is shocked to find out that they are literally cataloging and numbering universes. And so it kind of seems like if there's not a Reed Richards in a particular universe, then that universe may be sort of behind other parallel universes insofar as how they approach and understand the multiverse. So what I'm saying is, because Reed is in this universe, that universe is probably ahead of other universes as far as understanding the multiverse. And I'm assuming that would include Doctor Doom. So we're living in this world. Maybe they were college roommates. They understand parallel universes. They understand dimensions, all that sort of stuff. Well, maybe at one point, Doctor Doom understands something about the structure of the multiverse, and that takes him away. So maybe that's why the seat is empty, and maybe that's why he's not in the film at all. Now, I also want to mention that this heavily implies that RDJ's Doctor Doom is from this universe, from this 828 universe. That technically kills some other rumors and some fan theories that were out there. Like, I had this theory that Reed from the Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards, like this movie, and Victor would actually both be from a true version of 616, like the version of 616 that existed before He Who Remains won the Multiverse Award and recreated the Sacred Timeline. Kind of seems like that's not what is going on here. It seems instead that this is just Victor Von Doom, like as you know him from the comics, or pretty close to that, just existing in this universe 828 with Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. There was also a massive rumor that this team, the Fantastic Four team, and Victor himself were actually from 616, and that something happened that sort of put them in this offshoot universe, and they just decided to stay, and it was going to be revealed to be this big secret. And there's some certain scoopers and accounts that are pushing that still. From what I've heard, that's completely untrue. Nothing like that in the film at all. So that begs the question, what is the deal with Doctor Doom? Is this just a version of Doom that's in 828? And how does that relate to the events of Doomsday? Because we've heard that this Doctor Doom is going to first present himself as Tony Stark to potentially get the Avengers to help him out. So we've heard they're filming a big fight at the X Mansion. I've heard the sentries that show up there are actually sent by Doctor Doom, which is crazy. We've heard that Doctor Doom's going to fight against Magneto. That's absolutely nuts. And then, of course, we've heard that Reed Richards is going to fight against Nightcrawler. Now, that implies that Reed is working with Doom. So, obviously, there's still a lot of questions here. I don't really understand what's going on. Now, let's talk more specifically about the post-credit scene, right? I think the way most people took that scene was that Doom shows up and he's just going to take Franklin. But if Doom takes Franklin, why would Reed then be working with him and fighting against the X-Men? And why would the 616 Avengers, because we've heard like the Hulks and Yelena are probably going to be there in that fight against the X-Men as well, why would they work with Doom and Reed? How does this connect to this other rumor that says that Doctor Doom is going to first present himself as Tony Stark to the Avengers? So because of some of these questions, I'm thinking the post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four might actually be Doom just showing up, and yeah, he takes Franklin and it's all scary, but he takes his mask off and I think he's just there to literally address Sue Storm. I think Doom might work with them and might explain how crazy stuff is about to be, and maybe he helps save all of them and go into 616. But then there's this other rumor from Gary from Nerd Erotic where he had heard that the reason they wanted RDJ Doctor Doom is because they want the audience to see this character that they know as a hero, and then he's going to be super villainous and destroy the universe of the Fantastic Four. And there are a lot of rumors to suggest that this was originally going to be a part of the film, that Doom was going to destroy the universe. Like maybe they beat Galactus in the first version of this movie, and then Doom shows up in the post-credit scene, or maybe at the end of the actual film, and he destroys their universe. And then Reed and his family get in the ship and they desperately escape, and then that would be the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, right? They're just coming through into Earth. And so maybe that is real, but I just have this hard time understanding how Doom would do something so messed up and so villainous, and yet also convince the Avengers and Reed himself to fight against the X-Men and help him. Do you see what I mean? Like, some of this just is not adding up. So there's got to be some elements that we're missing, but every time we get new info, I love talking about it because I'm so curious about this. I suppose it's possible that the Fantastic Four actually do agree with Doom that they need to do something desperate and crazy and pretend that he's Iron Man in order to get the Avengers to help fight against his X-Men. The end of the entire multiverse is a pretty crazy thing, and if that's really what's on the table, sure, I could see a bunch of heroes bending their morals a bit, like being willing to do some messed up stuff. That was a big part of Jonathan Hickman's whole Time Runs Out event leading up to his Secret Wars. Maybe Victor's just got the silver tongue, man. Maybe he's gonna literally schmooze everybody over and convince everybody that he's doing the right thing, and then all of a sudden he flips on them. I'm not really sure, but the main point here is it seems like Doom is from this universe with Pedro, and it also seems like there's no real shenanigans involved there. It's just this is a different universe, just like 838 was, and Doom is from that universe. So I guess we'll see, right? Obviously, we're gonna eventually find out, but the more rumors and everything else that comes out, I will share it with you guys in other videos. Let me know what you think about this. You think maybe there could be even more? Maybe nobody saw certain things in this screening? Remember, only about 30% of the visual effects were done for this screening, so there's a lot more that the people that watched it did not see. The finished product will be much better. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section below, and as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.